Welcome viewers and the panel to the next video clip, which is on about coaching skippers. Nearly everyone on this panel is a current coach, or 7 of the 9 are, and this is what I'd like to convey to the viewers and the panel. I'm never cease to be amazed by poor decision making and pathetic communication from skips in team games, especially in our domestic pennant here in Melbourne, Victoria. Can you explain, and I'm going to get Danny and Bear and Lloyd to start it, how you guys go about coaching these skills for skippers? Danny.
At my club, at the start of the season, quite a slow green. I wanted to encourage and convince our skips that the draw shot wasn't necessarily the only option, especially when they had a wall of holes on the other hand that they could run through. So we set up a head where they had an open draw, and they would do the open draw 8 times, and then they would run through the short bowls on the other hand 8 times. And let's actually see, once the whole team had been through that one scenario, what the actual best choice was. And it was clear at the end of the day that the best choice for getting shot was not the open draw, because on a slow green, typically as soon as they went to draw, they would be short. Give them an option to run through a head, they would stun and run and end up on the jack more times than not. At the end of the session, we presented the results. And one of the skips said, yeah, but I'd still draw, because that was their natural approach to the game. Come Saturday, exactly that situation occurred. What did he decide to do? He ran through the head and he looked at me across the green and said, hey, I learnt something on Thursday. That's the type of thing that we need to do with our skips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, in other clips that we've run through our role responsibilities, I think, to actually coach a skip is very difficult, because there's so many different factors that come into it. Selection comes into the mix, where they pick the best bowlers, or the most aggressive person, or the most egotistical person in the squad to be in that role. But to actually coach a skipper to skip is more intellectual than it is about tactical, because it's about decision making and the consequences of decisions made. Because most skips, from an ego perspective, they would sit there and they'd say, it's my call, I've got to play the bowls, I am responsible. They say they're responsible, but they're actually taking on the responsibility of the whole team, and I don't think they understand that. So for me to coach a skipper to skip would be more in a classroom environment, and then take it out onto the track and then share it with the rest of the team, because I think it's really important that they understand the consequences of actions. Because I remember a situation at one of my former clubs where a skipper actually made all these decisions, and I was playing I think 3rd or 2nd in that role, but they were making decisions which I thought was actually crazy decisions. And when I challenged him after the game, I said, why did you, in all these situations, choose these things? And he said, because that's my decision to make, and I'll wear it, and you just have to suck it up. And I said, well, so why did I waste 6 hours of my day with you? So I think it's important that from a coach's perspective, if you're going to take the role on seriously and you're wanting to start to coach, skippers are going to be tough to coach, but it is possible if you sit down and you talk about the roles, responsibilities, the decision making and the importance of it, and the impact it has on the teams.
Luke.
I think they're spot on when he says the skipper wants to do things his way, my way. They don't want to deviate from that. I try and train our skippers firstly is to make decisions quickly, and then once they've made those decisions, support them, allow them to trial it, to run it, and then allow them to work out whether the decision they've made is correct or not. One of the best exercises we had this year was we took the skips aside. I put a bowl down, which was a resting toucher, and I said, all right, get a big shot. They drove, they played all these number of different shots. It was only until they started working out that they needed to build up the head and a different process that gave you a better result. They started changing the way that they thought about how they play the game. So always encourage them to make the quick decisions, but to also rehearse it and to see for themselves what the best option is.
Yeah, Dan?
I don't think skips have got a God-given right to treat the rest of their team with lack of respect. As Bear said, you're out there all working together to try and get a result, and then for the skip to turn around and say, I'll do it my way, I think it's a challenging issue, a very challenging, probably one of the most challenging of all in a club as a coach, to try and impact and influence skips who, traditionally skips are treated as God, almost like they're untouchable, and how we get around changing the mindset of dealing with that role, I think is a really interesting and challenging issue.
I'm going to get you to talk about practicing with a purpose, because once we've had some input, I'm then going to challenge you about, all as head coaches, how you might consider coaching skips who are in your top side on better communication. So let's practice with a purpose.
Well, this was raised earlier by Philo about practice and the notion that it's interesting in your book, practicing good habits. We can go out and train and practice as much as we like, but unless we identify the areas of skill that are lacking or the techniques that we need to be improving, we're not going to achieve the objectives or the goals that we probably are setting ourselves. So being able to identify where the issues are in a person's delivery or their mindset around the game, how they allow the little things to bring pressure to bear upon their performance, is something that you need to focus on in training and be specific in types of scenarios you set up and the way you train.
So when you're out there in the training track as head coaches and you see your top 4 skips, some of whom are doing less than preferred behaviours and communication, do you address that with them then? What do you do? Give me an example of a behaviour that you are not happy with, and give me the example of how you address it with that skip. This is on the training track. You nodded your head, Lloyd, so you're in the gun.
I'm a big believer in challenging them straight away.
Yep.
Picking up whatever they've done you don't agree with straight away and saying, okay, what could you do better?
Give us, the viewer, an example.
Yes, absolutely. I think there was certainly one time where we had one of the skips, we were playing a mock game amongst ourselves, and the skips had called a player for an upshot which he missed, and the body language was very negative, and his response to the player was a bit aggressive and not supportive of what we wanted to do. And I just pulled him up and said, okay, well, how did you contribute to that? What did you do to help him? How does he feel now? And question him about his response to the goal, and whether that is going to make him play the next one better or not. And really important that I think we stamp that culture of it's okay to put our teammates down from the start.
Now, go Philip.
Can I say something about that? In that case, you're going to ruin your game because you're uptight, you skip yourself. And if you think that person, that's how he's going to play, he doesn't want to listen to you, okay, let him have a chance. Throw in the hand, but that's a ball I like you to beat. I don't care, you come with this hand or that hand. And you play. So at least if you tell him what to do, he won't do it. And it could upset the whole team. And it's for your own sake to give it peace, you could
I think that's
go
exactly
along
right.
with
I
it.
think it's what has to be done in training, because as soon as it gets to
Gotcha.
game day,
Yeah.
as you say, it's just too late. It's just too late.
You've all got similar experiences. Have any of you coaches tried to intrude and modify that skip's behaviour at training? There, you're nodding your head. Tell us.
Yeah, look, it's I'm with Lloydie in the context of it's important to nip the bud
Yeah.
in off the track, not in a game situation. An example of that was when I saw a skipper. It's interesting at the higher level at the club at Melbourne now, but at the club of Remain, I'm seeing less and less of that behaviour. I'm seeing the understanding of leadership by example is actually protruding. Hence, obviously this year we're in the Premier League Grand Final again, but I'm seeing that actually filter through the club. But I have seen in some of the lower divisions where they haven't really taken that much notice. When I say lower divisions, I'm talking Division 2 level. But I've actually intruded on the behaviour of a skip where they were actually, you could see that they were actually having a joke with the person they were standing next to about the shot that was actually executed. And I walked up and said, you've got to practice your behaviour the way you would on the game on Saturday, because what I saw from the other end was this, and this is what the other player, this is your teammate, this is their behaviour that they saw you conduct, and they thought you were actually laughing at them in the way they executed something. So, it's about cause and effect, and I think I've brought this up in different videos that we've done. It's about consequences and cause and effect, and I think it's important that attitudinally you need to sort of nip it in the bud with the skippers, because you need to show them that every action that they have has a reaction, and it's important that it's actually conducted differently whilst on the green. I'm only talking about on the green. After the green, in the clubhouse, do whatever you like. Be as social as you can, but you're practicing what you're going to be doing on the very next competition day that you're playing, whether it be Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, whatever.
Can I touch on
Scotty and then Dina.
Yeah. In terms of what Bears just mentioned there, I think a lot of it reflects on your practice intensity and how people in those areas and those teams that you're talking about, how they train. You see, from my point of view, we see a lot of people practice like demons on a Thursday, Thursday night, but on a Saturday they don't perform as well as what they did during the week, whether it be, who knows, could be anxiety levels or for whatever reason they don't perform at that level on a Saturday. So from a coaching point of view, you need to try and get everybody there and buying into the way you want to play, attending practice as a group so you can practice the execution, and then the intensity of how you practice in terms of the intensity that you're going to want to play at on a game time. So Ben mentioned body language in practice it's so different because there's nothing on the line. If you miss the shot on a Thursday night, well, it doesn't go on the scoreboard and it doesn't cost you the game. But on a Saturday, that exact same scenario will affect you on a parent day. So you've got to work out the balance and how you're going to get that across the line on a practice, regular practice, situation.
Dina.
I guess we're all been in a situation where you become an appointed coach at a club, and what you are doing is inheriting the training environment where certain things have been done in that club for ever and a day. So one of the things I've found is trying to implement a change process in a club is not an easy job. You've got to ensure that selection committee is behind you, the bowls committee is behind you. It's not the coach against everybody else in the club, it's a whole club input. So you're going to be challenging personalities, you're going to be challenging egos, and particularly at the top end with the skips and the top end of bowlers who think they've got a, they're the best and this is their role. So unless you've got that all-embracing input from the whole club, I think you're battling uphill. It's very easy to get people offside. It just depends, I guess, on how you tackle the issue. I'm a fairly conservative sort of person. I don't like going up a bit different to you, like you tell people straight down the line. So you don't want to be putting people offside. You don't want to be turning people away from what you're trying to achieve at the club. What you want to do is try and embrace them and bring them on board and involve them in that whole change process.
On that note from Dino, we'll wind this clip up. Thank you, viewers. Thanks, panel, and we'll get on to the next one. Okay.